Attack the enemy! Victory is ours!
Good morning, everybody. Today is going to be a 6.3 battle with my Soviet lineup. It is from 26 October, and I was in the midst of grinding my BMP1 and had done a little bit of 6.3 gameplay with another YouTuber earlier in the day, so I just kept playing with it because I had some modifications that I could finish with my T-44. So I really like getting the modification, the tiers of modifications. When you finish off the booster, or you finish off an entire tier of modifications, you get a boost towards your research of whatever you're researching. So that's part of how I research vehicles as quickly as I do, besides having premium and using as many RP boosters as I can. Anyway, getting back to the video, I sped my way up to the C point here, fully expecting to meet a lot of M18s, but figuring, well, the T-44 is pretty trolly bouncy, so I probably would survive at least one hit from them, and hopefully be able to get a shot off. The turret is relatively speedy in its rotation, so saw one go by back behind the C point there, figured, well, here we go, we're gonna fight. Got a real good shot into him, sort of lucky, and there's another one right behind him. Kind of used him as a wreckage, as a screen, but we ended up hitting each other. He bounced off me, thankfully, and I got a pretty good hit into his turret and rolled up to get a finish on him, but unfortunately the guy that I killed, of course, couldn't respawn. Just barely missed taking him out, but he did get finished off, and I got an assist out of it, which was alright. Then this Comet pulls up on the other side of the building, and we had a little bit of a Russian-English standoff there. Who's gonna flinch first is kind of what it came down to. I got a pretty decent hit into him after he shot and bounced one off me, and then he had some friends come around to his rescue. Of course, this had to be a Sherman Jumbo. Best I could really do to him there reasonably was break his tracks. And then kill the FV-4202, who very much gave me a wide open shot into his crew compartment. Then the Comet got a pretty decent hit into me, and unfortunately I couldn't see him because his shot went through the building and collapsed most of the building down, and all I could see was the rubble. I finally stopped bouncing shots, though, right as an M26 came driving up that I probably would have had a pretty good shot into. But the Comet got me. Still, not the worst start to a battle. And it gave me more than enough points to come back in my TU2, and I knew right where I was heading.
Reloading! The enemy has most of the strategic zones.
Of course, all that fighting happening over at the C point was
Attack the B point!
almost for nothing, as the enemy moved in and took it behind me. But you could only fight off the entire enemy team so much. I certainly wasn't alone. I got a couple people help me out there. There were just too many enemies overwhelming us there.
Reloading!
And our team did take B and was also taking A, so it wasn't all bad. At least the guys that weren't over at C were well involved in the fight. So tried to get a little bit of a supporting bomb on that guy in the water there. Dropped it right where he was, but he backed up and got out of the way before the timer went off, unfortunately. I still did have one large bomb and one very large bomb left, so hauled the TU2 back around to make another pass. And there's our boy again. Got a pretty good hit on him. Did some pretty good damage, knocked out both of his tracks. So I know he's immobilized, so we'll come back in with the finisher here and see if we can drop it right on his head while I know he can't move. Unfortunately, that didn't stop him from capping. But it's going to be a bit of a tricky drop, because I could very easily drop this too long. But thankfully, I did not. I think I probably hit him with it. I'm not entirely sure.
Attack the B point!
And since B was clear, I let the team know to get in there and get after it, and then I swung around to make a gun run at this guy who went past me, but decided I probably would be best served running back for home and landing and trying to get myself, of course, that P-40 just flies right through everything, naturally.
The enemy is getting closer to victory.
So I decided to run for home and get myself into, back and get more bombs, and the P-40 decided he wasn't done playing yet. Got into gunner view, got some shots at him. He wasn't getting very good hits on me yet. Got a critical, and then killed him, knocked out his pilot. And luckily was able to set it down right at the runway just as my engine overheated and was about to quit. So I do safely land here. We'll pick it up again after I've landed, rearmed, and taken off again, and we'll save you guys just a little bit of time here of watching me land and repair, rearm, and take off again. We'll pick it up as we get back to the battle. Alright, so as we're arriving back to the battle, I'm heading in for A or B to see what I can spot. Basically just looking for anybody to spot anything here. Off in the distance to the left, I see a Sherman and then another Sherman come in behind him. That's a great opportunity for a couple of large bombs. I'm going to try to lead these guys a little bit. They stop, but I think I got the drop off pretty close to them. I dropped both of the 500 kilos and got pretty good damage, and then rolled back around for the 1,000 kilo to finish them off. I was hoping that they wouldn't see me coming and they'd be trying to rush and beat me to the A point before I could get back on them. Still let the team know that there's a couple guys coming to A, and they stop beautifully just as I got in and dropped that great big boy on them. Got them both. Turned and hauled back in to get back to our airfield for one more pass. And as expected, I didn't quite make it in there cleanly. I had a little bit of a guest coming to say hello. This one had a little bit better firepower than the P-40. I did get some pretty decent hits into him, but just couldn't quite get a good hit or a fire. He got a fire though. Put out one of my engines. I tried cutting the engine down to put the fire out, but it was far too bad of a fire, and it burned the wing right off, and, well, that was that.
Another zone captured. We have the advantage.
Our guys did capture a couple of points and started taking one away from the enemy as well, so very good work, team. Made sure I let them know. Good work. Appreciate that while I was flying around. Came back in a 5.7 tank, but still, it's part of my 6.3 lineup. The good old captured T-5. Always fun to drive. I always love it when I get the opportunity to pull up alongside the Germans and fool them into thinking I'm on their team. In this case, they actually were on my team, so I couldn't really take advantage of the potential misidentification bonus of driving the T5 around, but that's okay. It's simultaneously hilarious and nerve-wracking trying to sneak in and among the Germans when you're fighting against the Germans driving the T5. I imagine it's the same way in the T3, but I don't have the T3. Our team has taken all three of the capture points back. Very well done. Had a shot come at me from something, but I'm not sure if it was a accidental bounce from a stray round or if somebody was actually firing at me, or if it was strafing. No idea. I didn't see or hear anything go by, but just continued on my way. Can see some enemies getting marked. I expect they're going to be up on their normal fallback position of the sniping ridge over there. And I'm heading my way over there on that poor brave M16. It's pretty gutsy bringing an M16 into a battle at this height here. I mean, it's a very good and very capable anti-aircraft platform, but you can't do much else against tanks except maybe against other very lightly armored or probably SPA, like SPA trucks, but still, bringing the M16 is pretty gutsy. Knocked myself out an Achilles that I actually thought was an M36 when I shot at him. Well, it turned out to be an Achilles, and then got myself a little bit stuck on some roadblocks, but was able to move in and pull up alongside this Tiger here. I don't want to get too close into their spawn. I'd rather just kind of fight them just outside of their spawn if I can help it. Worst case, I'd much rather fight them at the capture points, but a situation like this, I'll pull up here and let them get out to a fighting position and then see what I can do to romp on them. This is one of those maps where you could hold all 3 points and the ticket bleed just doesn't seem to go anywhere for a very long time. As you can see, very slow tick down. So there wasn't a lot of action happening over here besides that poor M4, so I decided to swing back over towards the C point and see what I could do to run into some enemy contact up there. I figured if they were getting shot down, shot up pretty quickly as they were exiting over on this side, they might try to switch over and go to the other side. Saw somebody driving by in the background, tried to line up my shot on them there as they were going to cross through that opening. And they ended up getting killed by a Tiger H1, but also I couldn't see them in the opening I was watching anyways because of the artillery that I myself had fired. Oh well. Battle's going pretty well so far. 7 ground kills and an air kill. And when an SU-152 comes driving up alongside to hold the front line, you figure you're probably not going to run into too much more trouble from the enemy. And in fact, that would be true. There's a little bit more action that's going to happen, but this is essentially the end of the scoring for me. So if you really, really want to, you could skip ahead to the end from here. I won't be that mad. There is a little bit more action coming, but there's no more, essentially no more killing or destroying anything. So if you really want to skip ahead, I'll be all right with it. I'll find a way. I'll find a way to be okay. So there wasn't much going on up towards Seaway, so swung her back around and started driving back over towards A, just kind of trolling back and forth right now, looking for any kind of contact. And watching an A-26 fly overhead and drop some big bombs onto a T-34-85. And then an Ostwind and a P-63 killed each other as a Whirlwind shot down a B-17. You don't see too many B-17s in ground battles anymore. Got a critical hit on an M41, and right as I was about to finish him, like literally before my shell got there, somebody else killed him for an assist. And that was okay. Still though, it would have been a 9-kill battle if I'd have been able to finish him off. But I guess I can live with 8. So as the A-26 is returning back to base on one engine, I got a fairly close shot on him. If I'd have made contact there and killed him, I probably would have just quit right then and there. I would have just put down the mouse and keyboard and just walked away from the computer for about a half an hour and just let the recording keep going. Alas, I did not hit him. One more guy coming out right here, coming up from the right to the left. Risked a chance, tried to time it on him, didn't quite get him, and then right as the battle runs out, pretty good critical into him that didn't kill him. And of course he was a Sherman Jumbo, and it didn't really matter because the game hiccuped out at the end of the battle. And that was it. Certainly would have had another kill or an assist there, but that's okay. 8 is enough. There you go. There's a dad joke for you. A joke involving a dad on a show. So, 4,000 research, a bit of a research penalty because I was researching such a higher tier vehicle. You can tell by the modification research. Pretty good money score, though. First place, an awful lot of scoring going on. 3 assists and a capture. Whole bunch of awards. And a pretty good battle for 6.3. Pretty good work with the TU2S for sure. And not too bad with the other guys. So, that'll do it. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. More 1.71 action is coming soon, I promise. Whole lot of stuff I bought during this week, so hope you guys enjoyed this one. We'll see you soon for more War Thunder. Take care, everybody.